The landscape of media has changed. At one point in time, there was nothing but newspapers. Then there was the TV news. But now, everybody's online, telling this and telling that, giving information, misinformation, misguiding people. So I guess I got to change with the time because everybody has. Oh, welcome back to Everybody Has a fifth episode. Yeah. She didn't want to do that, but thank you for honoring me on that.
That was so lame.
Lameness works.
Very lame.
Well, speaking of words that start with L, ladies first. So nice, y'all like that transition there? Okay, so we're gonna kick off the fifth episode talking about the ladies. Before you jump in, because you did get to catch a volleyball game this week, talk a little soccer. Millington versus White Station. I saw that out at Memphis at Howley Stadium, and game could have gone either way. Millington had a couple opportunities early in the game to score. Coach E has his girls playing a lot better, and they took a 3-0 loss. So they got a tough lesson on you got to make your own breaks happen. They hit the crossbar a couple times. They had control of the tempo for the first 20, 30 minutes of the game. And then White Station kind of just started to barrage them with things. Got a free kick in the box. Got that 1-0 lead and kind of snowballed from there. So I think the Lady Trojans learned in their process of winning, you have to keep momentum. And just because you might be the better team don't mean you're going to come out with a win. So they bounced back against Central a couple nights later, 10-1 win. So I think they're learning that lesson. Now let's get to the volleyball court. I got a chance to see Brighton twice last week against your Millington Lady Trojans and against their rivals Mumford. Brighton, Coach Garrett up there, he has those girls looking great. What was your impression?
They are the beasts. They are like honestly, like those two girls, number 16 and number
Taylor
12.
Simpson and that's Savannah.
Those two together are the Great Wall of Brighton. That's what I call them. The Great Wall. They block. You're not getting through them. And even number 12 by herself, she's a brick wall herself.
Savannah is the taller one, and Taylor, the senior, is more athletic. Savannah's only a sophomore. So, her running mate, Triple G, Greta Garrett, the coach's daughter, the setter, number 28. Those two gonna get to play together for a long time,
And she's also really good at serving. She got ace back to back to back to back. I was like, wow.
You asked Millington about that. Millington was up 23-19 in the set, so they're 2 points away from winning. The ball got back to Brighton on the serves. Greta took over. They won 25-23. So she puts this weird spin and everything on the ball. She is a total volleyball player. I think she can get to the next level as a libero or defensive specialist, but very smart. Triple G, she knocks him out. Yes, that's to the Triple G of boxing. Whatever. So you saw them against Mumford, and you like how they block at the net. But what about some of the other impressions of Brighton?
I feel like they're smart with their plays because a lot of them they didn't just spikes or anything. They would tip it. They would just be very soft and throw the other team off, thinking that they're about to hit it hard, but then they just do a little tip. I don't know the terms.
Yeah, bumps and things.
Technical terms, because I'm just like, I don't know what this is. They just did this, and it was a very soft little,
tip,
hit.
It's not always a spike.
Or sometimes, I know, like a layup. It looked like a layup. If we're talking about basketball, it looked like a little layup that they did when they hit the ball like that. But they are very smart, and they know what they're doing.
And the players, Collins, Potter, they're all starting to gel and come together. Millington, their team. I think the main reason why they lost to Brighton is as simple as one plays in the big league and the other one plays in the smaller league. Brighton has to play tougher competition. Millington will be there in late October, possibly in sub-state, might even making it up to state. And then as for Mumford has some young players. Their senior leadership, they're spread kind of thin this year, so they're taking some lumps. They're very competitive. They'll push you in those sets, but they just seem to be coming up short. Maybe things can turn in a couple weeks. We'll see.
Also, it's a mindset thing. You could kind of see in Mumford that they felt defeated. Like they were defeated themselves. They the last point wasn't even because of Brighton, the last point that ended the game was Mumford. It just seemed like they gave up. So it's a very you have to have a tough mindset to win games. You can't even when you're down and out, you have to keep your mind up and keep your head in the game and keep fighting.
Well, the Brighton and Mumford will need some fight because they're in the lead with the big four. That's Bartlett, Arlington, Collierville, and Houston. It's going to be hard to get out of that lead. And as talented as Brighton is, Coach Gary will be the first one to tell you it's a tough task ahead of them with those teams in their leagues. Hopefully they can get some way like they did with football in 6A, spread them apart so more teams can have a chance to reach regionals and things like that. But very impressive week, and we're going to check out some highlights from the big screen. Welcome back, and now we're in the second segment. That's football time. It's time for us to recap. Before we get you to homecoming 2025 Millington, and they took on Fairwear, I have a little information on some of the teams in our area. Gotta give a shout out to my boy Tay Starks of Mumford, the sophomore running back, semifinalist for Mr. Football last year. With this stat line, he might be heading back towards winning Mr. Football. They went up to Warford County, Kentucky, and pulled out a win. Up there, they put up 40-something points, and in that effort, Tay Starks rushed 24 times for 307 yards, scoring 4 touchdowns. And when he wasn't busy running, he threw the ball a couple times for 95 yards and a passing touchdown. He had a full night. So Coach Slade Calhoun and the crew, congratulations, Tay, awesome job. And we definitely had to note that and point that out. But as we come closer to home, where were we Friday? We were in Millington, homecoming. I know y'all say, hey, it's kind of early for homecoming, but they technically went on the road and came back home. So shout out to Hannah Mabry, homecoming queen. We'll talk about that in sights and sounds, but the football game itself, you were there on the sideline. What did you see, Liyah?
I saw Millington learning how to win.
Oh, wow.
I saw that they actually changed from Lakeland kind of like, I feel like like they felt like they were gonna win the game at Lakeland. You could tell that they had that energy that like, oh, we finally have someone we can beat up on, you know. And it didn't turn out that way. And so I feel like Coach definitely talked to them, and I feel like they had their head on better. Even like, you know, like even with the like maybe like the clashing that like they had minimal clashing. Like I didn't even know that someone got benched. I didn't even know that because I didn't see it, right? So it's like
and the reason why he's benched, they have a new team rule: one unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, rest of the game you're out. That's the Millington rule. Coach trying to set a new culture and discipline.
Yeah, and I feel like it's actually like they're actually taking to it, because like when the you know the other team might be getting in their face, they're kind of like throwing their hands up like, hey,
learn to walk away.
You're the crazy one, not me, right? And I feel like Cole has kept their head in the game the whole time. They played together, you know, they made big moves, and they learned how to win.
Well, A.J. Wiggins, he was on the receiving end of two of Cole's touchdown passes, and I think Cole ran in for one. So Hawkins definitely turned that corner last week against Lakeland, and I think he kind of showed that, hey, I'm the guy, Coach, you can trust me. And now he's proven to his offensive coordinator, Coach Kraft, I can run your offense, I can run this unit out here. But the game score was 21-0. So we got to give a shout out to Millington's defense. Cameron Calhoun, number 2, I think linebacker, hybrid bred linebacker type, was all over the field, just hitting that lateral pressure. If they were trying to go outside, number 2 was right there on them. Then they try to go inside. Players like Damon King, Jamal Newsom, big number 59, almost ran her over, not going to play her out.
That defense was on Fedware like white on rice.
Yeah, so
they just bam. Well, offense. That offense was on them like white on rice, and defense. Honestly, just bam.
Millington dominated the line of scrimmage.
It was just like big hits that you just hear. You're like, ooh, that hurts.
Yeah.
And being right next to it, it's just like, ooh.
Yeah. Chris Duckworth, gotta give him a shout out. He laid a couple kids out for Fedware, and then they got to the next level. They ran into Trey Wampler. Number 3, you don't want to run into him. That's a big boy. So Millington defense took a step forward, and I think getting that goose egg is going to give them some confidence going into the Bolton game this week. So we're going to check out some of the highlights from the Millington game. My highlights, where you're not going to get all the sights and sounds that you give Liyah's lens, but I do my best. Check it out.
Profanity, creating emotion, and intimidating
Welcome back. We're at our third segment. That will be Sights and Sounds. So we were at homecoming. I think, you know what, I'll let y'all in on my suggestion. Maybe they should move homecomings into early September, so the weather can be nicer. Because these cold October rainy homecomings, girls put on those pretty dresses and those ugly shoes. I mean, those high heel shoes. It's like the weather can ruin it.
Okay, let's give Millington girls some kudos. Most of them did not wear heels, actually.
Oh yeah, well they're not allowed because of the turf.
Most of them wore sparkly flats, but some of them did wear heels. So
once they got off the turf.
No.
Superintendent Griffin see them with heels. He'll run.
There were girls. You can look at the pictures that you took on the field.
I'm not turning that evidence.
They had heels on, walking on that turf.
That sounds like evidence. So
they had heels on. There was at least 2 girls that had high heels on.
So if y'all see some young ladies running stadiums because of the military.
I think one's a senior cheerleader, or maybe she's a basketball cheerleader. So
Okay.
y'all
So,
might actually see her running.
okay, so I got to go back and look at my photos to see who had on heels and who did. But it was a beautiful night. I think they wore nice dresses. They were classy, and they were demure. I love the 2 green dresses because green's my favorite color, and they were sparkly and all that good stuff. But red was the color of winners that night. So the princess and the queen were sporting red. I don't think they coordinated that, but our senior class of 2026, Miss Hannah Mabry, she got the crown. And,
It was very evident because part of the sounds that you hear is screams. So when I wasn't even paying attention to the people, but when Hannah's name popped up, the crowd went crazy, and I was like, yeah, she won. There's no way, because if she didn't win, why is everybody going crazy like this? Like, it was obvious that she won, and I was not shocked. It was funny because when I was recording them announcing, I turned to her side before they said who it was, and it was her. So.
And before we check out that video, because we got that for our sights and sound, talk to her dad. You just see the dad proud moment, and it's just amazing how dads know this. It's just kind of instinctual especially when your daughter is having a special moment. You just step back, and he just wanted her to have her moment and just shine. And then here I am, the reporter, pull him into the moment. Sir, how does it feel? He said, I'm just happy for her. And it's a great way to start her senior year. He said, ain't this what the senior is all about? So we're praying that this is a great start, just the start for Miss Hannah and her classmates, that they have a special year. And you got to enjoy these moments because it flies by. It'll be May before we know it. So enjoy every moment. And I'm glad Millington football team gave them a 21-0 victory as part of the sights and sounds. And before we close out, I have one more thing.
I wanted to say, I also like what you hear on the sidelines, being around the players and the coaches. It's kind of cool to hear their thought process especially with the coaches. Like, they call these random names. I don't remember any of them, but they're so weird. Like Texas Roadhouse. I don't know. They just yell random names, Tennessee, and they just throw these little random. They start dancing these random symbols. It's just kind of cool because they just throw this do this play, and then they do it, and it's like, wow, dang, these coaches do know what they're talking about, and it's cool to see them know how the game works and put the game and put things into position for them to make big plays and make moves and to win or to stop the teams and all that stuff, stop the other team from scoring, all that stuff. So I thought that was really cool too.
Yeah, the terminology is a whole, it's a whole new world. But part of my sights and sounds was I got to add taste. I want to send a shout out to Sean, the medical trainer provider out there in Millington. He hooked me and my daughter up with some Japanese curry rice. Somebody got all the shrimp out of it.
Not on purpose.
Yeah, it gravitated towards your bowl.
It did.
But it was delicious. Great way to start the tailgating. They do it big out there in Millington, out there at Rex Wake's Grill in the corner. They bring out the treats and all that for the teachers and administrators and special guests. And we're always blessed to be special guests. We do not take it for granted. But everybody was looking at our bowls because we always had Japanese curry rice. So. But we want to also commemorate a very special moment for Miss Hannah Mabry that will live forever in her mind and now on Everybody Has an A with this highlight.
Homecoming queen, representing the class of 2025, Miss Hannah Mabry.
Fourth segment time, and we're about to close things out with our Dynamic Power 10. Once again, the people at Dynamic Physical Therapy, shouts out to you for sponsoring our Power 10 yet again. And we enjoy that partnership, and we also appreciate the work that y'all do keeping our kids healthy and safe out there on the football field on Friday nights. And we start with number 10. They were number 1 at the beginning of this Power 10. Now they're at number 10, the Collierville Dragons at 2-2. They took a tough loss to Madison Ridgeland. When you're playing a tough schedule like the Dragons are, you have to respect the ups and downs. But hey, this might prove better for them in November. At number 9, St. George's, they took their first loss of the year to Jackson Christian, 40-10. Nothing to cry about over there. Jackson Christian is always tough. And they take on North Panola, Mississippi this week. They travel down there. And Collierville has a big showdown with Arlington. They had to go to Arlington. Okay, number 8, MUS. They're 3-1. They took their first loss to Lipscomb Academy, 49-24. They'll try to bounce back against Father Ryan. At number 7, coming off a big win and jumping into our top 10, the St. Benedict Eagles. Like I said, our boy Coach KJ over there and that crew getting things together. He's an assistant over there, but we know his mindset and his toughness. And I think it's permeating through the Eagles program. They will take on Briarcrest. They have to travel there after they pick up a big 52-14 win over Kingsbury. So who's ranked ahead of them? Briarcrest at 3-1. They big showdown against St. Benedict. Briarcrest picked up a big 56-14 win over Father Ryan. So that's when you get that crossing over and all that kind of stuff. So Briarcrest is 3-1. About 2 3-1 teams. We'll see who's going to move up in the top 10 and who's going to drop. Okay, now we get to our top 5. The Tipton Rosemark Academy Rebels at 3-1 picked up a big 49-7 win over FACS. Our boy, Mr. Fulton, he had a great week last week with 5 touchdowns. Another big game this past week. He's going to have a big performance at USJ if they want to keep this momentum going. At number 4, and this is when we get into our 4 remaining undefeated teams, the Arlington Tigers. Aforementioned, they're 4-0, a 50-0 win over Ridgeway, and now they have Collierville. I gotta be honest, this is Arlington's first real test. So we're gonna see how good they are. They go to 5-0 and legitimize this start, then the shockwaves will come and everybody's gonna start coming out there looking at the Tigers and what Coach Ev has brewing out there. At number 3, they went all the way up to Kentucky to validate how good they are with a 49-35 win over Woodford County, Kentucky, the Mumford Cougars. How good are they? Well, the Haywood Tomcats will help them find out this week. Another tough test. Like Coach Lake Calhoun said, let's say they get past Haywood. Do they get to breathe? No. Whitehaven, the Tigers, they have to go to the Haven next. So the Cougars are trying to get through September so they can really see where they're going with this thing. At number 2, the Germantown Red Devils. They went to the Haven and picked up a 22-19 win over those Tigers. Whitehaven's a competitive, tough team. So to go to 4-0 after that win says a lot, and they had Lausanne. So it looked like the Red Devils don't get a break either. As they take on Lausanne, they have to come to Germantown. And at number 1, 4-0, the Covington Chargers. They went to their rivals Brighton, took care of business 49-0 over those young Cardinals. And now they have a matchup with Obion County to see if they can hold on to the number 1 spot. And that's the top 10 for the Power 10, Dynamic Power 10, going into week 5. And as we close out things here, Liyah, you got any final thoughts?
Leave a black and gold heart. Black and gold heart.
Trojan Prize coming
Yeah,
out.
it is. I'm sorry. They got their first win, you know.
No, do me a favor. Leave a thumbs up if you actually heard us this time.
Yeah, actually, leave
Yeah.
a thumbs up.
Yeah, we'll take that at this point. And,
Or black and gold.
Yeah, and leave a comment and drop some suggestions on who we need to look up in our coverage area, who we need to profile, need to shine. Y'all can help us out with this thing. You know, say, hey, Thomas, check out this on social media. Liyah, go to this. Well, she don't do Facebook because she's under the age of 30. But hit me up on Facebook, hit up on the other socials, and let us know what we need to check out, who we need to showcase, so we can grow this thing. And I think that's all I have to say. You're good.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
Oh yeah. Do all that good YouTube stuff for us.
Hit the notification.
Yeah, to help us grow. And
It's free.
Yeah, and I'd like to send a shout out to Mr. West 10 Media, Cole Hawkins. That's my boy. I got to return the favor. And we'll see you next week.
My guy from Memphis, Tennessee, John.